I'm Gita Rivera.
Oh, me too.
I'm Ben Vereen.
And I love
StageBuddy.com. And you should too.
I know that we'll be two for the road, and that's a long,
We are here today with Michael Feinstein and Christine Ebersole. Thank you for joining us. When I first read Two for the Road, I thought about that Audrey Hepburn and Albert Finney movie. So will there be any of Henry Mancini's music in your show?
Yes, we are going to do that song because it is the musical theme of the concept. And I was lucky enough to know Mr. Mancini and Leslie Brickus, who wrote the lyric, and I think it has special meaning for both of us, that song.
It does, because we are two for the road. We do a lot of traveling in our lives and in our careers and have had many adventures, and it's always really special when we can come together and sing. So, two for the road, it makes sense.
So between the two of you, I would pretty much think that you've sung every song in the world, probably. So how do you... How do you find new songs to add to your acts?
For me, it's coming up with an idea. Often when we do shows, I think sometimes a promoter or someone producing a concert will say, we need a title. So sometimes I just come up with a title, and then the title sort of dictates what is to come. It's like it's a mysterious spiritual process that just evolves, especially with us because we're both very open, and I love how Christine thinks blessedly so differently than I do, and it spurs me into areas that are fresh and exciting, and it just happens.
What's one song or maybe one composer that you've introduced to each other that maybe you weren't fans of before?
Well, I would say everything, because he's such an absolute warehouse and library of information about the great American songbook that it's been always such a great learning experience and an exciting adventure whenever we get a chance to work together.
Well, Christine is introduced to me, with Grey Gardens, having an appreciation for that score, and With You and Will You, With You is another song. The evolution of this music is so extraordinary because there are literally thousands and thousands and thousands of songs. So sometimes you want to express a certain emotion, and then it's like a smorgasbord of picking which song, because there are so many subtleties and permutations of the human condition that are expressed in this music. It's dizzying and exciting. One of the things I love to do is think of songs that I'd love to hear her sing. It's much easier for me to think of songs for you than for me. It's like years ago, I came across a song called Love Isn't Born, It's Made, that was from a mid-40s musical. And she took the song and totally made it her own, and that's what I love about it, that Christine always has a way of taking something and it's fine as it is, and then she'll elevate it to a level that is just fresh and contemporary and is her.
Thanks.
It's true.
Since this is inspired by travel, what's like your go-to album or your go-to music when you're at the airport or flying or just trying to get to your destination?
I don't listen to music then, really. It's more about reading.
When I fly, I do listen to a number of things over and over again. It's like comfort food. Shirley Horn's Here's to Life recording is one that I adore. Travel theme recordings. There's a concept album that Bing Crosby and Rosemary Clooney did called Fancy Meeting You Here in 1958, that the whole concept of the album is travel. And that is a perfect album, a perfect duet album, perfect arrangements. And we've thought about doing that song in the show because it's a great song about travel, Fancy Meeting You Here.
So other than this, your home, what are some of your favorite places to perform in?
Do you have favorite places?
Wherever they take me. Because that's what's so great about it, is just that, the different places, the different venues that you go to, it's always like a new adventure. And so that's what's so wonderful about it.
Every place has its own vibe. I believe that every physical space has an energy that has been created from all the people who have inhabited it, just as Feinstein's 54 Below still has the aura and the energy of what happened in the basement of Studio 54 decades ago. It still is here in a certain way. And so we feel that as artists because that is our job, to feel certain things and express them in a heightened way for the audience. And so for me, I don't always remember where I've played, but I always remember the feeling of being in a certain spot, just the feeling.
I've seen the two of you perform together at Carnegie Hall, and I wonder, is there? Yes, you were in that in the small, yeah. And I think you did Johnny One Note. Then maybe, yeah. And I wonder, is there a difference for you when you're performing at such a grand concert hall, and then getting to do a legendary nightclub? Is the energy different? Is your process different in any way?
It's interesting because I went from playing piano bars to playing at the Hollywood Bowl. Literally, I got an offer to play at the Hollywood Bowl, and you were there. 1987,
I was.
Bonnie Roseman
Yes,
brought you. That was my first. That was 17,000 people. Wow. That's when we met. Fred introduced us. But I never played in a space that big. But the thing that I learned that night was that there's no difference in how you connect to the audience. It was exactly the same as playing for 50 people. Only that the applause lasted a little longer. Thank God.
So can you invite our viewers to come see Two for the Road?
Come see our show, Two for the Road.
At Feinstein's 54 Below.
Stage buddy, nobody quite so true.